IVM.
You are the most valuable investment you will ever make. Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, your leadership coach, life coach, and emotional intelligence coach. You probably know me from the Empowering series, and this is my new show, the Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla. I'm going to coach you to be the best version of yourselves. So get ready to create, attain, and manifest the life you've always desired and make it your reality. So often at your workplace, you're posed with a problem. Oh, sorry, that would be an understatement. I meant a variety of problems. Anything from delayed services to bad customer service. From an unexecuted idea to a badly executed one. More often than not, teams are picked upon for bad performances. And honestly, that list keeps going on. It's never ending. You understand me, right? You know how it works. So what happens when you have a recurring problem and things aren't going as planned? Well, one way to look at it is basically fix the problem at hand. Put out the fire and move on to the next one. But when organizations are repeatedly faced with the same problem and you continue to firefight, you're basically trying to resolve this issue, but in a very superficial and temporary manner. However, having said that, let me tell you that I usually tell everybody that a large role of leadership is firefighting. But what I mean by that is when your team, your subordinates, your people aren't able to solve a problem, they come to you. Not for the same problem, not repeatedly, not redundantly. The problems have to be different. The problems do not have to be the same, because in that case, you haven't gotten to the root cause of it. And which means that's trouble for an organization. So, the question then becomes, how did this fire really start and where did it even come from, right? Firefighting is great, but only when the problems are not recurring. Today, I'm going to talk about a very effective and a very simple tool that you can use for problem solving and root cause analysis. Honestly, you've just got to try this one out. It works, it does. You have to know how to use it though. So I'm going to help you and take you through the steps. So let me walk you through something known as the 5 whys technique. Whys as in the question why, W-H-Y. Why? This technique was developed back in the 1930s, around the time, yes, and it was developed by the founder of Toyota Industries, Sakichi Toyoda. He basically started this technique and it helped him to determine the root cause of a problem. What he would simply do is repeatedly ask the question, why? Why did this happen? All right, if this happened because of this reason, why did this reason occur in the first place? And so on and so forth. He would keep repeatedly asking the question why to understand the signs and the crux of a problem at hand. What really happens is, by doing this, you start to identify and eliminate the problems by determining their root cause. It is also used closely with the fishbone diagram and Six Sigma, as you might know, but I'm not going to get there. It's kind of technical and deep. I'm going to keep it very simple, and it is not a complex technique by nature, but it requires certain steps. You can use this for a persisting problem. You can use it for lack of clarity, process glitches, company analysis, SWOT analysis, any areas of concern, areas where the organization needs to improve. So you can use this in plenty of places. You can also use this in your personal life, by the way. To figure out the root cause of a problem, you just need to repeatedly ask yourself why. But it is important to be able to use this technique effectively, and for that, you require a few steps in place. So here are the steps for a good 5 whys analysis. The first step is to assemble a team. A team that is assembled for brainstorming, and it has selected members. Now, these members should ideally have some amount of knowledge and, kind of be familiar with the situation at hand. This allows the brainstorming to become way more effective, and they can also share their expertise and express their concerns more candidly. So step 1 is to assemble a team. Step 2, define the problem. This is really important, guys. So please pay attention here, very close attention. For the 5 whys technique to work, you must define it in a very crisp, clear, and concise manner. So you will not only define the issue, you will also write it down as a problem statement. Create it as a problem statement. So the team is looking at the problem statement, and then the questioning, the technique becomes clearer. And in addition to this, if you want to go a little deeper into the situation, with your problem statement, you may also want to kind of give a hint of the intensity or scope of the problem. Maybe whether it's micro or macro, whether it's too grievous or it's slightly lighter in nature, whether it's big or small, whether it really requires a big team for discussion, you can decide that. So you can share the intensity or scope of the problem, but mainly what is important is to have a nice, crisp, clear, and concise problem statement. That is step 2 for you. Let's move on to step 3. Step 3 is where the process actually begins. The team leader will ask why the problem has occurred. So it's the team leader, it could be a manager, it could be a facilitator for this particular assembled team, right? You start with the questioning process. You ask the first why. And as you go on, the team indulges in answering. They come to a conclusive answer. When an answer comes by, the question again arises. Why? And as you go on with the why and you keep getting answers, you come down to corrective actions that need to be taken place. And if they haven't, then why? And so on. Sometimes you may find the root cause by the 3rd or even the 4th one, but don't be rattled. Just because it's called the 5 whys technique does not mean you stop at the 5th why. You can continue to ask this question till you reach the root cause or the crux of the problem at hand. There's absolutely no number to it. Step 4, determine and implement corrective actions. Once the root causes are identified, you need to list down all the corrective actions, and then your leader, your boss, your manager can assign those duties and responsibilities to members of the team accordingly. So you know what you need to do, right? You're going to discuss a problem statement and try this technique. And I know it might leave you slightly confused at this point because you're wondering, once the question is answered, what's the next why about? Well, it's simple. The process is simple. You just go stepwise, assemble a team, create a problem statement, define the problem, start asking the questions why, one after the other, and then determine and implement corrective actions. All right? I know I might leave you slightly confused at this point with a few questions, but obviously, don't worry about it. Next week, I'll take you through a few specific examples of how you can use the 5 whys. So you can get a hang of it and you can actually use that as a framework when you're trying the technique. But until then, I'd like you to sit down and just try and put these 4 steps together for a very simple problem, and maybe create or assemble a team for a specific problem. Something that's recurring, something that you need to get to the root cause of, something that you need to pull out from the root and get rid of. Okay? So what I want you to do is just put the 4 steps in place for now. To give you further understanding of this framework, I'm going to come back next week with a few examples of how you can actually implement the 5 whys technique. They're simple, but they're interesting and they're amazing. So in the meanwhile, do what you love and do it often. And if you don't like something, you better go change it. The power is within you. Thank you for tuning in to the Life Manifesto with me, Zarina. If you find the show useful, then please share it with your friends, family, and co-workers. You never know. You may just help someone become the best version of themselves. And if you want to align your life with some signature masterclasses, certification courses, and live sessions with me, go check out and download my app, Life Manifesto with Zarina Poonawalla, available on Play Store or Apple Store. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to share with me, get in touch with me on my social media handles. I am at Zarina Poonawalla on Instagram and LinkedIn, and at Zarina Speaks on Twitter. See you in the next episode.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Raw and Organic, Kunal is joined by Divyanka Bedi, aka Gigi. She's the owner of a fitness studio called The Space in Mumbai. They discuss how the pandemic changed everything and how to start building a community. One of our favorite shows, The Habit Show, completes 3 years and 600 episodes. Congratulations to Ashton and the rest of his team. Good habits lead to consistency. Ashton clearly has them. 3 years and 600 episodes is an amazing achievement. In the world of Simplified, Chuck, Naren, Shriketh, and Tony try to find out how distressing it is for billionaires to be taxed on their income. On All Things Policy, the Takshashila folk unpack the findings of the National Family Health Survey. And on Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Preeti Khurana. She's the Director of Advocacy and Regulation at Clear, and they discuss filing your income tax return. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And also do check out our YouTube channels. We have a number of them. You can get them on ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And remember, if you're enjoying this show, or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us spread the word. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors for the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
A wise man once said, traveling, it makes you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller.
Well, listen to such travel stories and experiences exploring India on the Musafir Stories with us, Saif and Faiza.
Catch us on the IVM website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.